Hello, my fine friends. I want to welcome you to the first edition of the Madman Au Jus. I had to look it up, what au jus means. I didn't want to confuse things, so I even went to Google. It's like, it means I'm with juice. It means I'm sauced. I got sauce in me, you know. I've been drinking. There was a time, okay, I'm recording, I know that, when I thought it was valuable to be a little sauced, to have had a couple of drinks in order to make my content more interesting. I don't know, maybe I talk slower in that state. I don't know, but I have a patron pack. Yeah, I have one more left. You can get all this stuff plus a special extra gift. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio, become a patron. The next person who does that will get the patron pack with a special extra gift. All right, au jus. French culinary term meaning with juice. It means the beer I'm drinking. It means beer. It tastes good. All right, I wanted to talk about that a bit. I think I covered it. But I want to talk about the rabbit. The eastern cottontail rabbit that's been in my yard lately. I think there's more than one. I mean, when it comes to rabbits, you know, there's more than one, generally. I must say, you know they say that Spain, España, the word España means the land of the rabbits. But the problem is that the rabbit has like 270 degrees worth of vision and 360 degrees worth of hearing. And so when a rabbit comes in my yard, no matter where he is, he's chewing on the leaves in my yard, calmly, but unfortunately because at least one eye is pointed directly at me, and probably two ears are pointed at me. He looks smug, if I must say. He looks smug. He's like, that's right, I'm eating your grass. I am eating this foliage in your yard. What dare you do about it, sir? He looks smug. I mean, I'm not saying like rabbits are evil like horses. They're too dumb. They're way too dumb. So I don't even know what they think of me. When I start like taking it personally. It's like, why you keep staring at me, rabbit? Eat in my yard? You like trying to, and then I take a step towards them and they run off, you know. It's like, I feel like the rabbit misunderstood. And fair play to the rabbit. Fair play to the rabbit. Anyway, you want to do something else? I don't know. I was thinking about this. I want to talk about like Atari for a bit. I may turn down the volume a bit, just so I can talk over it a little bit better.
Here are the top 10
ads.
Atari 2600 games of all time, according to fans of the 2600. Number 10
Let me turn down my audio. Here we go. I may be sauced.
Ms. Pac-Man.
I may have had the au jus.
Arcade hit came to the 2600 in 1982,
but I still know what I'm doing.
Classic. To this day,
that looks like regular Pac. No, that is Atari Pac-Man.
Of
this
an
Pac-Man.
arcade port that is quote.
I played the hell out of this.
It helped that
the
it
first
was
Pac-Man was
by
terrible.
The same company that made the arcade version. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play, having 4 colorful mazes and lots of bonus items.
It was
to munch
way
on,
better.
like cherries and strawberries.
The flickering
and
thing
of course,
got
the 4
fixed.
enemy ghosts. It has nice sound
the mazes
effects
were better.
and music to go along with it. The game shines even more.
It was great. You didn't even really notice the bow tie.
Yeah,
here we go.
Which had drab colors, flickering ghosts,
it was terrible.
Just one maze, and sounds that were more primitive. It was said that the Pac-Man port was a rush job, but it was also limited by the 4K of memory.
Oh my goodness, I remember all these mazes.
8K of memory.
It's all stored in my brain. Get him, get him. That guy. Yeah, you're not going to get the other
Number
one. Get
9
the cherry.
is...
That was an apple, sorry.
Asteroids.
Oh.
Here's another solid arcade port, which also had 8K of memory on the cartridge.
I mean,
your objective
seriously,
is simple.
the logic of the game Asteroids was...
And then the next screen, and the next screen,
I mean,
and so
you're just
on.
destroying them.
Satellites and
you're
UFOs
not mining
will
them.
occasionally enter the playfield and spray bullets in all directions. There's a certain
They should be mined, right?
This game,
or are you just assuming like all these asteroids are coming towards Earth or something?
Sounds similar to
I don't remember.
Or perhaps it's more like the musical
the game
score from the
packaging
movie Jaws.
of
Like
asteroids.
many of the early 2600 games, this one had a lot of variations built in. 33 of them, which alter various aspects of the game, such as the number of players.
Yeah, when you just get down to like one of those little tiny ones.
Extra lives are awarded, and what special features you can activate by pressing down on the joystick.
You can spend an hour
Those features
doing
include
this.
hyperspace, where you disappear and reappear somewhere else on the playfield.
There we go.
Shield,
and then all of a sudden, it's nightmare.
And flip, which instantly turns your ship to face the opposite direction.
Oh my god. I mean, this is so basic to me. It's like, duh.
For those of you who are wondering how
oh my god, that's beautiful.
This list, I sourced it from an active 20-year-old forum post on the Atari Age website. And that forum asks users to name their top 10 games. This list is a conglomeration of everybody's suggestions over all those years.
I don't know if I like this. We should skip. Don't care.
2600, and they have played a lot of games for it.
All right, let's talk about Space Invaders.
Space Invaders. Another wonderful arcade conversion of a hit game. Also yet another game where you have to clear the board of something, but this time it isn't dots or space rocks, it's invaders who are trying to get down to the planet. If one does touch down,
the way they
it's
accelerate
game over,
just like
even
panic
if you have
mode.
Lives left.
You remember
Much
this?
like Asteroids, there is a rhythm that plays, but it's
panic mode.
Up as you clear out the invaders, and they speed up in their attack as you start to reduce their population. The last invader is very fast and is very stressful to deal with, but that's part of this game's charm. There's
remember those guys who methodically like each row at a time.
Amount, and those open up all kinds of features to experiment with. For example, one variation allows 2 players to control the same ship. One moves right and the other moves left.
Oh my
There's
god.
also variations that include moving shields, zigzagging enemy shots, and invisible invaders. One thing about the legacy of Space Invaders is that it helped popularize the space shooter genre on the 2600. By the end of its lifespan,
lots
the 2600
of those
was flooded
with
space shooters.
Lots of those. Got him.
Number 7 is...
That's cool. He put those...
Yar's Revenge. It was supposed to be a port of the arcade game.
Not a good game.
Castle,
Good, better execution on the
took it in a different
number 7 and out of cartridges.
Different is the key word.
Cartridges.
Here. This game resembles nothing else on the system, and that's one of the reasons.
It is one of the most unique games ever created,
to expose the enemy within it, which in turn you have to shoot with your cannon. A small little
oh my
dot
god! Yeah, that second stage was
around,
insane.
It's like toes. The word Yars is based on the name of Atari's CEO at the time, Ray Kassar. It's Ray spelled backward. The game is also notable for having a comic book included, which provides a story for what is going on in the game.
You should probably look that up. That Yars comic book.
Number 6 is Hero.
Yeah. Yeah, that
This
was a good
third-party
game, man.
made by Activision is
This is
rather
like,
uncommon,
they
but
fixed-
it has slowly become
like
more popular
fixed
over time.
Pitfall.
The premise is that you have to descend into some mining shafts in order to
Yeah,
rescue miners
it was
who
like
are
a
trapped.
good
You have
Pitfall.
abilities to work with. You can lay down sticks of dynamite to take down walls. You can shoot a tiny laser to take out enemies. And you can
I
hover
remember all-
upward when you
the
regret where you have
First
descended
stage, yeah, I remember all
these
this.
things add
Anyway.
a puzzle-like element to the game. There's one miner in each stage, and
Yep.
as the stages progress, the mines get more complicated in terms of layout, and it also throws new obstacles at you, forcing you to adapt quickly. It's a very good game. Number 5 is Missile Command.
Yeah.
The fear of nuclear war was a very prevalent theme of the early 1980s. In both the arcade
And what a
game
simple
of
game
Missile
it would be.
Command and this port of it captures that fear perfectly. Your
in
goal
terms
is
of
to
programming,
keep the
it's
6 cities
incredibly
from being nuked. Enemy missiles will start to trail down from the top of the screen, and you have to take them out before they reach the cities, or your ammo supplies. Your weapon creates explosions, but there's a delay between the time you press the fire button to the time the explosion happens. The key is to get that timing correct. With each
Exactly.
wave, the enemy missiles get more numerous and increase
Oh,
in
my.
speed. Once your last city is destroyed,
Oh, no.
a final
This is
planet-wide
nightmarish.
explosion signals your failure.
So many times. I feel your death, brother.
You understand your pet like no
Oh,
one else.
my God.
But there are things they can't
Have a
tell you.
child.
Like what?
By the way, I agree with the fans on this one. I have another video of just my own top 10 favorite 2600 games, so be sure to watch that one after
What?
this one.
According to fans, okay. All right. I'm a fan.
And number 4 is
Memories.
Sneak and Peek.
Not familiar.
No, I'm just kidding. Number 4 is actually River Raid.
Yes, it
It
is.
only takes
That's
a few
correct.
seconds of playing this one to figure out why it's so highly regarded. It's a fully functional scrolling
It's
shoot 'em
so
up
fast
on a system that shouldn't
that
really
you
be
can
able to
control
handle
the
such
throttle
a thing.
on.
By
It was
pushing
brilliant.
forward or back, you can
Yes.
control the speed of your plane.
It
to
was
avoid
brilliant.
collisions, you need to quickly determine which
For the
enemies
time,
are
it was
stationary
incredibly
and which ones
intelligent.
are moving. You also need to monitor the fuel
But
gauge.
but also
Flying over
hard.
fuel tanks will refill the gauge.
yeah, it
but you
was-
can also
it
shoot
was
the
difficult.
tanks for points. Like most 2600 games,
Fuel.
it really wants you to die.
Yeah.
As you progress, the enemies become harder to avoid.
Yep.
But if you want to
It
introduce
gets
a
insane
young person to
through
the Atari 2600,
the harder levels.
I think this is the
And
perfect game to
In
show
those
them.
Atari games, man, they just increased like the frequencies of, in programming. It's just like increased
Number 3
exponentially.
is
It's like Kaboom. Kaboom is the best example, which is
Adventure, perhaps the most perfectly named Atari 2600 game. This one helped
exponentially more
establish
bombs
the
being dropped.
adventure genre in gaming.
yeah.
Yes, it may look blocky
game,
and barren
blocky,
at first glance, but it has
but
a lot
for
going
nerds
on.
like me,
you travel from screen to screen, going through
kill the
mazes
dragon.
and avoiding
Go kill the
dragons,
dragon.
which
Kill that
literally
son of a
eat
bitch.
you. The ultimate
Kill
goal
that
is to
son of a
find
bitch.
chalice and bring it to your
Kill
home
that son of a bitch.
castle, the Yellow Castle.
Kill that
Besides
son of a
the
bitch.
chalice, there are many other
See,
items laying
this is
around
probably like
that
a
have
really
various
fun-
uses, one of which can
one
be
of the
used
best-
to kill the dragons. There's
'Cause
also
it,
a
like,
bat
figuring
on
it out and
variations 2 and 3
it
that
living in your
constantly flies
imagination in
around,
the 80s
relocating the items
was
and
awesome.
it even relocates the dragons. Game Variation 3
Yeah, I beat
is
it, of
considered
course I
the
beat
best
it.
one because it randomizes the starting locations of the items. Adventure is also one of the first games to have an Easter egg in it. I won't spoil it by showing it, but basically there's a series of actions you can perform which opens up a secret room with some text.
You got it.
Number 2 is Pitfall 2 Lost Caverns. After the first Pitfall sold millions of copies, Activision programmer David Crane wanted to make a sequel, but he felt the 2600 had become outdated, and so he created his own custom chip to put inside the Pitfall 2 cartridge. That chip expanded what you could normally do when programming a game. This allowed him to create this massive platformer, which has a variety of enemies, checkpoints, water effects,
I think I wrote to
and
Atari
a long
around
and
this
winding
time.
set of caverns to
Say,
traverse
yeah,
and
you should put an
explore.
extra chip.
That
You got a
chip
lot of
allowed
space
him
inside
to
these
also
cartridges.
create some of the most
You could put
complex
another chip in
music
it.
ever heard on the Atari.
Because I was a kid that, like, you know, I got 2 combat cartridges.
The game is viewed to
I'll
this
pry one
day
open.
as a
Take a
technical
look
marvel,
inside. It's like,
but
you got a lot of
regardless
room in
of
here.
that, it still plays
You can add
very
chips.
well if you play it today. The sense of exploration is just off
I guess
the
it's
scale
because, like,
for
around
an
the
Atari
same time,
2600
I was,
game.
you know, doing, around the same time, I was also, like, programming in BASIC. We had a Tandy computer.
Here's a few honorable mentions that just missed being in the top 10. The first one is Kaboom. This
I
is
would
one of
redo
the
that
most
mem.
reflex-oriented Atari games. You have to use the paddle controller to catch the bombs that come streaming down. Every
Is there
round,
echo
it
in
gets
here?
faster and faster until you can barely keep up. I'm terrible at this game, but it has a wild and crazy feel to it, and that appeals
Yes,
to
that's the
a lot
point.
of people.
That's
And
the point.
another honorable mention is
Berserk.
You walk around mazes and shoot robots. It's a concept that's hard to mess up. Add
Yeah.
in electrified walls and Evil Otto, who is basically a giant face that chases you throughout the maze, and you have a
What a
fun
great game, though.
Like others on the list, it's considered
So
a
many hours of
faithful
fun.
arcade
Yeah,
conversion.
it's like Wolfenstein 3D. Was I think
And
were
the
based
last
on that.
honorable mention
Anyway,
is Warlords.
not 3D. But
This is a
Wolfenstein
up to
1 and 2.
4-player paddle-controlled game
Oh,
where
I
the
remember
object
that.
is to break down your
Yeah.
opponent's castle walls and destroy the warlord sitting inside them.
I
before
think
they
I
can
actually
do the
played
same
like
to you.
a paddle
This
game.
game is
It's like-
best when you have
yeah, 4
real
players. Yeah,
people
yeah.
at like a party or something.
Yeah. It got intense sometimes. I
Number
remember
one
that.
is
Oh my God.
Pitfall.
Obviously.
This is one of the games that helped
Ow.
establish the platforming
Hurt my
genre.
knees.
It's basically a long and well-presented obstacle course set
Yeah.
across 255 screens. You have a limited amount of time
Tarzan.
and a limited amount of lives. The obstacles that await you are water hazards, tar pits, snakes, logs with perpetual motion,
Oh, yeah.
scorpions, campfires, and
Took forever to
alligators.
figure this out.
If you travel underground, you have the potential to pass up certain screens since things are mapped differently down
Yep.
there. Your main
I remember, like,
motivation
we
is
had,
to
like,
gather
notebooks
the treasures
full
sprinkled along
of
the way, which include
diagrams
giant
of
bags
what-
of money,
what you see.
silver bars, gold bars,
And we
and
compared them
diamond
at
rings.
school
It's all presented
for
with a
Pitfall.
very detailed and easy on the eyes graphical style. Trust me when I say this, people were enamored with this game in 1982. And
Really?
when people play it today, it unlocks all those warm feelings of the past. But it's also notable that the gameplay holds up very well when you play it today. It's just fun to jump around as that little man.
I don't know.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my personal favorite top 10 Atari.
What should we do now? Usually I go to Twitter when I'm a little bored with YouTube. Let's see what's going on Twitter. It's okay. I don't care. Okay. Yeah, I don't like being au jus coming to Twitter because I might make a weird comment and upset somebody. So let's skip that. Let's just do a random. What if I go pee? If I go pee, is that okay? Yeah. All right, NES games, according to fans. Let's do that one. And I'll pee.
Sadly, windshield chips.
When I see an ad like this, I feel like a rock is
Here
going to
are the
skip
top
up and
10
hit my...
NES games of all time, according to fans
Windshield.
of the NES. Number 10 is Zelda 2, The Adventure of
Ew.
Link. This one was a huge departure
Ew.
from its predecessor in terms of visual style and gameplay mechanics, but it still has that sense
Alright,
of
P-Bird.
wonder that the Zelda series is known for. The overhead part is zoomed out compared to the first Zelda game, but if you touch an enemy or structure, it turns into a side view platformer. These side view sections featured very detailed and clean looking graphics, and they still look good today. Of course, it wouldn't be a Zelda game without some of the most wonderful music ever to come out of a 8-bit console. Number 9 is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. It was the last of the trilogy on the NES and arrived so late that many people missed it. However, in the years since, people have had a chance to try it out, and what they have found is, unlike Castlevania 2, this one did not have much in the way of adventure elements. Instead, it went back to being a straightforward platformer like the first one. And
love
many
the
people think
Castlevanias.
that's the best kind of Castlevania you can have.
Second
It wasn't
one. Is this
exactly
the second one?
straightforward. There were 4 different beings that you can play as, and branching pathways to choose as you played through the game.
Lord
It's just
almighty.
a well-designed, polished, and memorable
Incredibly good
title.
game. The Batman game was highly copied from this game, except a
In
little bit
case you're
faster.
wondering, here's how I came up with this list. I harvested information from this
Oh,
Reddit
God, I
post,
don't
this
care
GameFAQs
about
forum
why.
post, and this
Give
who
the
have played
list.
a NES library. Number 8 is Super Mario 2, the
pretty good
American
one.
version. Japan got
Yes.
Mario 2 before us, but that one was very similar
yeah.
to the first
Yeah.
Super Mario,
Yeah.
and it was very difficult to play. Nintendo of America didn't think it would be a good fit for American audiences
'Cause
so
they're
they produced
stupid.
a different Mario 2. They did it by taking an existing game in Japan called Doki Doki Panic, and they rebranded it with Mario characters. They changed a lot of other things about it too. It ended up being a unique entry
Yeah,
in the Mario series. Instead of punching blocks
And it
above
wasn't
you were
not
pulling up
fun,
plants
you know what I'm
from
saying?
beneath you. Bowser was nowhere to be found. Instead, the final boss was called Wart. People loved the music, the gameplay, but most of all, people liked it because it was different.
And they added
Number
elements, both of
7
them, into the third one.
is
Yeah, it's great.
Metroid.
Oh my
Atmosphere,
God, so many
atmosphere,
hours playing
atmosphere.
Metroid.
You are alone in the deep corridors of an eerie planet, hunting around for upgrades in order to take down some space pirates. It's a formula that would spawn an entire franchise. Over 10 additional titles in the series came after this one. This one had 5
That
different
includes
endings, depending on how long you
transgenderism.
took to beat it. And some of those endings had a surprise reveal that stunned people at the time. It's a good game.
Incredibly fun game. Except there's a secret agenda in
Number
it.
6 is Contra. Konami was to the
Oh my
NES
God.
what Activision was to the Atari 2600. They
Oh
made
my God.
games that pushed the limits of the system and were gorgeous to look at and
Whenever
fun to play.
there's 2
Contra
guys
is perhaps the best
and
example of that. Based on the arcade
they have
game
this
of the
game.
same name, you have to shoot
You're
your way
playing
through
this
6 scrolling stages and 2
Or
stages
Atari
where
Warriors
the camera
or,
is behind your back. Seeing these graphics
like
running
Commando,
on a TV
maybe?
in the 1980s was a thing to behold. The weapons were especially
you're not
fun
hitting
to
it there,
use
man.
because of
All
how
right,
much
anyway.
destruction they could dish out. On top
Yeah,
of that, you have
need the long
memorable
range.
boss battles and a final stage that cannot be forgotten.
Ride the elevator.
Number 5 is
Okay.
Super Glove Ball.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just kidding. That's not number 5. The true number 5 is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out,
All right.
also known as simply Punch-Out. after Nintendo's contract with Tyson expired.
Yep.
Punch-Out began life as a realistic but cartoony arcade game. It was ported to the NES, where they embraced the cartooniness
you see
even
this more at
You
parties,
play as a small
you know?
man boxing against
be at a
large
party
opponents,
and,
each of which
it's like,
had
all
their
right,
own
you take a shot.
personality and moves.
You take a
cannot
shot
just mash
towards Mike
buttons to
Tyson
win.
and see
you
how
have to
far
pay
you get.
attention to each opponent's pattern.
It was fun.
And
It's like
time
you
your
get
punches
a lot of guys who
accordingly.
get as far
It
as
made for some
Piston
compelling
Honda,
gameplay.
like
if you were
this.
lucky enough to play this as a kid, you know how good it felt to
Yeah.
finally knock down a tough opponent
And
for the first
you'd
time.
have you'd have
especially if it was
discussions
Mike
about
Tyson
like how to beat
himself.
him. It was like, you know, when his pants are down, hit him in the stomach, you know, that kind of bullshit. But you'd get those like
Number
statistics, like
4
the times.
is
You know, it was great.
Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
the original. This title changed the world of
It's
gaming
just that- I
forever.
think it's just
For
that
many,
everybody
it was the
played
first
it,
time they
and it
ever
was
saw a platforming
full
game
of secrets like that.
scrolled to the side as you walked. It was also
And I
the
think
first time they
they
had
planned it that way.
experienced little magical moments like grabbing a mushroom and becoming big, or going down a pipe to the underground sections, or grabbing a star and becoming invisible, or finding a hidden
Invincible.
one-up mushroom,
Invincible.
or finding a warp zone.
Yeah.
The core mechanic was jumping
Until
and they did a good
Nintendo
job of
Power
allowing
came
the
out.
player to jump very
Nintendo
high and very
Power.
accurately. That makes all the difference in a platforming game like this.
Seems basic, doesn't it? Compared to games today, doesn't it seem basic? That's the
By
evolution.
the way, if you think there is a game that should
nah,
have been
eh.
in this top because of Mega Man 2, there have been also state which game should be bumped
Shucks.
out. Be bumped is Mega Man 2. There
Great
have
one.
been over 50 games with the Mega Man name in the title, but that was not because of Mega Man 1.
I hope-
that game did not sell well in Capcom's eyes.
Well, I hope-
and they were reluctant.
I hope
to
Mega Man
commission a
isn't
sequel.
higher on
but
this
one of
list.
the programmers insisted, and in the end, his team doled out this gem in under 5 months. Your primary task is to take down all the bosses and steal their weapons. Each boss has its own themed stage, and you get to choose the order in which to play those stages. The colors of those stages really popped out, and the creatures were often large and detailed. But what took this game to the next level was the music. Without a doubt, it's some of the best music on the NES. Some may say it's the best video game music of all time.
What? Get out of here. Get bent. Get out of here.
By the way, my personal top
I
10
bought the
favorite
soundtrack
NES games are a
for,
little bit different from the games you're
Grand
seeing
Theft Auto,
on this list. I'll put a
Vice
link
City.
to
You know
that
what I'm
video
saying?
in the
All of them.
description.
I bought the box
Number
set.
2 is
Because I'm an idiot.
The Legend of Zelda.
Obviously.
Nintendo believed in
I would
this
think it'd
game
be higher.
so much that for its American release, they made the cartridge
Like
gold
entire-
and created
yeah,
a see-through
an
part of the
entire
packaging
2 summers.
that revealed a little
2
bit of
years.
that gold. I think
My
we
friend-
all know
my friend
that
and I,
this
Josh,
game is historic
just trying to
because
solve
it
this
spawned
game.
a
It was
series that's still
amazing.
going on today. But at the time, we kids were just really enthusiastic.
I don't know, for some reason,
to be able to play
the balls
big
from the lady in the
adventure
water
where you're going
don't
around
hit me
this
anymore.
gorgeous
It's like,
looking
why
land,
get it?
Entering caves,
Why
finding
get it?
items, and entering dungeons.
We have
and
already
beating
evolved
bosses.
to
For
avoid
many
her
people,
at all
this would have been
costs.
their first adventure game ever, and it was a magical experience for them and everybody else.
Oh my god, you can blow stuff up. Oh my god, you can stab that guy and the fire shoots at you. Oh my god.
Before we
Why?
get to number 1, let's do 3
Honey
honorable
mustard?
mentions.
Oh.
These are games that barely missed being in
You gonna
this
get
top
to
10.
Tengen
One
stuff,
is
or-
Castlevania, the first one. Yes,
Eh.
it's older and not as advanced as
It's
Castlevania
pretty
3,
good.
but it sure has that Halloween feel to it. With
I played
bosses
this one
like
the
mummies
most,
and Frankenstein
and it's pretty good.
Igor and stuff like that.
Especially
the
if
next
you're a
one
fan of
is
horror in the
Kirby's
80s.
Adventure.
Okay.
The original Kirby appeared on the Game Boy, but this one brought this series further into the limelight. A series
Too
that now
cutesy for
consists
me.
of 39
I don't like the
games.
cutesy
The core
stuff.
gameplay mechanic is that you
What
can
was it,
eat
the
your enemies and inherit their characteristics.
shoot,
And
the
speaking of
Disney
games
thing,
that spawned
they're
a lot of
shooting,
sequels, the last
stars
honorable
at
mention
people,
is
collecting stars. I
Final
forgot.
Fantasy.
Disney one,
It was an
anyway.
RPG and the dawn of RPGs. And it's one of many games that helped popularize RPGs. It had a class system, vehicles for traversing the world map,
RPG
and a
video
storyline
games,
that people
you know.
were into. Number 1 is Super Mario 3. This one finished way ahead of the other games in the final vote counts.
Considering the
It wasn't even
system it was
close.
on, it was
Why is
incredibly
that?
good.
The game is just pure, unadulterated fun.
Yeah.
One new addition is that you can get a tail in the game that allows you to fly upward into the sky and find
for some
secrets.
reason.
You also get these
'Cause that's
cute
logical.
little suits that give you
Yeah.
new abilities.
It was-
You get to
it's
play
amazing,
quick
these
little
bonus
mini-games
stages and
to
stuff
get
like that.
items.
It was,
there are 8 worlds, each with a drastically different theme.
Yeah,
and each
I
one
mean-
of those is represented by an overworld map, which allows
It
you
was
some
incredibly
choice in which stage to play next.
Probably,
of course,
if you
like
ask me,
the
the
other
best
games on this
Super
list,
Mario Brother
tremendous
game
effort
was
was
this.
put
It's
into
just,
the music and the graphics. The cartridge came with a special chip inside, which
Had
allowed
elements
it to
of both
handle the massiveness
the 1
of
and
this
2.
game. And it truly was
but like
massive.
leaned more towards. Holy cow, I'm drunk. 5 up, bro.
I
Nice.
hope you enjoyed this list. Like I said before, if you'd
forgot
like
what I
to
was
see
talking
my
about.
personal top
Anyway.
10 list for the NES, you can check out the video that's
I'm
linked
done.
on the screen.
I'm
Have a good day, everybody.
a Jus. I'm on the juice. I'm on the juice. Hey, you want to take a look at like the videos? Yay. Yay. I'm the madman. I'm drunk and I love you.